Today we're going to be looking at some alternative strategies that our students are using in class for addition. And this is in addition to the traditional algorithm. These are just some other ways to look at addition problems. The reason that some of these are beneficial is because it really puts the concept on the place value of the number, so it really enhances the student's understanding of what they're doing instead of just trying to solve for an answer. The first one that we're going to show is partial sums, and this is where we're adding it up in parts to get the sum, so it's really kind of adding by its place value. And so that is going to look like, in the number from 142 plus 363, we would see 142. I just have my students space that out as kind of as if it was the expanded form, so they're used to that, plus 363. And they would actually start in the hundreds, and then they would just go down, and so they would see that they can kind of think of this as 3 plus 1, because really it really is 300s plus 100, so they would see that that's quickly 400, and they can see that this is that 6 and that 4, and even though that is going to give them a hundreds number, that's okay, we're just going to leave it there. So 4 tenths plus 6 tenths would give me 100, and then I have 2 plus 3, which would give me 5. Then they're going to go and combine all of those, which they will be able to quickly do in their heads, because of these double zeros here, because of tens and hundreds, their brain is able to work faster, as well as just thinking about the concept, and so they're able to quickly put together the 400, the 100, and the 5 to get 505. And sometimes if this number ends up being something that's a 2-digit number, it might help them to combine the tens and the ones first. Like, for example, if this ended up being 2 plus 9 and they ended up getting 11 here, it would be beneficial to combine these two first and then go back and add the 100, so it would be a nice flow. You can also do that on a number line. And looking at the same problem, we talked to our kiddos that we would want to start with that biggest number, because that is going to be the quickest way to add up. And then from here, we're going to make jumps in any way that I want, so that my jumps, I have to make 142 jumps, but I can make them in the quickest way possible. And this is different for each student. Probably most kiddos are going to start with adding 100 here. And so out of 142, I have now taken out 100, so I only have 42 left to add. So this gives me 463. And depending on your student, they're going to look at this and want to add up in a different way. Some students may want to go ahead and just add that 2, because they see that 2 and that 3 to get that 5. So then they would have 465. And now they only have 40 left to add. And some kiddos may want to add in small chunks there. They may only want to add 20 here to get 485, and then they would only have 20 to add. And then they may want to add the 20, or they may want to add by 10, or whatever they want to do to their jumps, as long as they end up using all of the 142 to get to that 505. This is just an open number line, and it just allows them to add in steps and in parts, and it's a great visual tool because it organizes the numbers and lets them know why we start with 363 and what's happening with that space to get to 505. And then the last one is just a couple of number sense type addition strategies that we show our kiddos, and that's really that you can kind of change your numbers here when you're thinking about the spaces, because if I had 26 plus 75, I can use what I know, and I know that 26 really is 25 plus 1, and so I can change 26 to be 25 plus 1. I can add that to 75 because of their knowledge of quarters, and they know that 25 and 75, what a nice number to add, and that would be 100 plus 1, so that would give them 101. So they still really did add 26 plus 75. They just added it in in a little bit of a different way. Same concept over here with 17 plus 9. You could also change 9 to be, that's really 10 minus 1, because it's the same thing as 9. And so then if I'm adding 17 with that, then I have 17 plus 10, which would give me 27, minus 1 would be 26. And so that's sometimes a little bit easier than thinking about that 9. All of these strategies are just strategies for students to have some extra tools in their math toolkit, so that they're thinking flexibly about numbers instead of just one way.